All right, so in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at this 7-foot popping center build, and we're going to roughly just talk about what might be the meta for center builds on NBA 2K25. We're going to start things off in the finishing, and I'm going to say this in my inside center build later on when that video eventually does come out. We don't know just yet what the meta will be for finishing, so mashing hasn't really been great for almost 2 years at this point, so I didn't want to put a whole lot of close shot on a build, not knowing whether or not it was going to be good. For the drive and dunk, we ended up going kind of conservative as well. We ended up going for a 75, which is pretty much the go-to driving dunk rating for most popping centers last year. Get you athletic one-handers off one, the Giannis Antetokounmpo dunk style, get you Karl Anthony Towns as well, bunch of really good dunk packages. Now for the standing dunk, now this is the one spot where I felt kind of comfortable upgrading it to a relatively high rating. We're gonna put that to a 90, and with that 90 standing dunk rating, we're going to get Rise Up on gold, as well as Aerial Wizard on gold, and we're also going to get the Elite Big Man standing contact dunks. Now the standing dunk meter seems like it's going to be a little bit more difficult on NBA 2K25, so I don't think that necessarily is going to be meta. However, standing contact dunks have always just been good in NBA 2K. I can't think of a year where 90 standing dunk is not good, so we ended up going with the 90 standing dunk. Now, one thing I do want to point out really quickly, a lot of people are going to see this 61 post control be like, Joey, why the hell did you put this high? Well, I don't have a choice because I have my strength to a 91 for a specific badge that is very important for centers that we will have to talk about later. But the 91 strength brings your post control up to a 61, and there's no way to go around. Same thing for the close shot. Realistically, most meta centers didn't really have super high close shot last year. So the close shot just gets brought up by, I can't remember exactly what brings up the close shot to a 75, but just know I cannot drop this any lower. I can't drop layup any lower, and I cannot drop post control any lower than it already is in the My Player Builder. All right, so now moving on to shooting, and we're actually going to talk about shooting for quite a bit when it comes to the meta popping centers. Mid-range shots just going to be a 78. It's going to get you Set Shot Specialist on silver, Post Fade Phenom on bronze, and Deadeye on bronze. You're also going to get a 74 3-point shot. You get no badges with that 74 3-point shot, so we're just going to get that out of the way really quickly. Now, the one thing that has me interested with shooting bigs this year, and this is definitely something we're going to spend a little bit talking about in the My Player Builder, is as you can see, this build with a 78 mid-range shot gets silver Set Shot Specialist, and you get bronze Deadeye. Post Fade Phenom we're not too worried about. 3-point shot, like we mentioned, is going to be a 74. You don't get any badges on this type of build with your 3-pointer, so realistically you could go lower on this, but we'll save that for a later date. Now the problem here is that the next badge rating is Deadeye on silver at an 85, and then after that you don't get any new badges until an 89 rating with Set Shot Specialist on gold. Then you'd get gold Deadeye at a 92 rating, and then you'd get Hall of Fame Set Shot Specialist at a 93 mid-range or 3-point rating. So the problem that sets up here, or potential meta that sets up here, is I believe that poppers in NBA 2K25 are either going to be maximum wingspan poppers, just like this one right here, or they're going to be minimum wingspan poppers based off of how the badges kind of set everything up. Because again, you don't get any good shooting badges. Obviously Silver Deadeye might be okay, but that's an 85, so you still have to shrink the wingspan quite a bit to get that. The only really good catch and shoot badge that you get is Set Shot Specialist on gold, and again, that requires an 89 mid-range rating, so you got to jump your midi up 11 just to get the next level of the badge. So I think most poppers are either going to be maximum wingspan or the minimum wingspan. The one issue that we didn't really get to cover with this whole conversation that we're having is also animation requirements. So let's say, for example, we got something like Chris Bosh base, right? Chris Bosh base usually requires an 86 mid-range or 86 3-point shot. So if you want to get Chris Bosh on a build like this, you're going to need that 86. So obviously you'd still get Silver Deadeye, but then you're at an 86 mid-range rating, and then Set Shot Specialist is only 3 ratings away. So it's just like, do you shrink your wingspan even more to get the gold shooting badge? Is it going to be worth it? So that's a whole other separate conversation. Then jump shot bases like Kevin Durant look really good this year. That's going to require an 87 rating. So what I'm thinking is, if most poppers can find a jump shot that you can do with these ratings. So for example, your previous jump shots would be Jonathan Isaac, Andre Drummond were both pretty good last year at these lower ratings. Dwight Powell, actually, no, Dwight Powell I think requires a little bit of a higher rating. So if Jonathan Isaac base is really good again on NBA 2K25, which I mean, hey, doesn't really look like a whole lot of the jump shot bases that were meta last year got changed a whole lot. So safe guesstimation here is that Jonathan Isaac base might be good next year. Once again, you could probably get a good Jonathan Isaac base custom with these ratings. And what that means is that as long as you can shoot with Silver Set Shot Specialist at a decent rate, there's no real reason to adjust your wingspan, unless if you really want to get Set Shot Specialist on gold, which again requires an 89 mid-range rating, which is almost minimum wingspan. Now, when it comes to the 3-point rating, obviously shrinking your wingspan is going to increase your 3-pointer, but with that, again, you're not going to get any badges. So what's realistically the difference between a 74 3-pointer and, let's say if you want to increase it to like an 80 3-pointer? What's the difference between an 80 three-pointer and a 74 three-pointer on NBA 2K25 when you're not getting any badges by doing that. Feel what I'm saying? So you're jumping your three-pointer up by 6, but you're not getting any extra badges. So I think this year's game is going to be max wingspan poppers, minimum wingspan poppers, and very little in between. I don't necessarily know if I want to be wrong on that either. I think that would cause a little bit of a different type of gameplay that we haven't seen in quite a while with the poppers, because if you guys know, popping centers have been pretty much like kind of roughly fine, whatever wingspan gets you the good jump shot or catch and shoot on gold, and that was the go-to. So like last year, it was a 7-foot popper with a 7'6" wingspan. You get 86 midi, you get open looks, catch and shoot on gold, you get boss base, and you're chilling. You're gonna shoot just as good as a stretch. You're gonna rebound just as good as a max wingspan center with those those mid wingspan centers. Hopefully this shifts up the meta a little bit. Now we're gonna see max wingspan poppers versus minimum wingspan pure stretches, and maybe that'll change things up a little bit, because once again, I genuinely do not see any reason to increase your mid-range or three-pointer unless if you're getting set shot specialist on gold. Aside from that, I don't see an 83 three-pointer with no extra badges shooting better than a 74 with the same badges. That's just my honest opinion. So I think this is going to be the go-to for most people. And again, a lot of centers don't like going minimum wingspan because that hurts rebounding, that hurts rim protecting, which is very important in 5v5 gameplay, especially when you're playing on a more traditional offense. So popping centers, if they are made, which again, if 74 three-pointer is hittable, I think this is how people are going to make it. Now, we've talked about shooting for quite a lot, so now let's move on to some playmaking. All right, so now for the pass accuracy, we have an 87. That 87 pass accuracy is going to get you break starter on gold, gold dimer, bronze versatile visionary, and bronze bailout. Now, Hall of Fame break starter, you can get at a 93 pass accuracy. So let's say you put a little bit more pass accuracy in the builder on this, and you put some cap breakers to get to that 93. That's totally possible. But when I was at community day, when I was messing around in the My Player builder, I didn't want to think about cap breakers too much. We do not know how long or how difficult it might be to get these cap breakers, so I didn't want to think about it too much when I'm making these builds, but there is some potential to maybe get this pass accuracy higher, get it up to a 93 through cap breakers. Ball handles just at the minimum that the pass accuracy drags it up to. Same for speed with ball. Now there is a Domantas Sabonis dribble style that you can get at a 40 speed with ball. The next one would be Nikola Jokic at a 55, and then all the other really good ones, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paolo Banchero, they're going to be at a 65 speed with ball. Actually, I don't know if Giannis has a dribble style. I know KD and Paolo have one at a 65, but again, we got to see what speed with ball is really going to be like on this game. And again, for meta centers, I don't think people are going to put a whole lot of speed with ball, maybe just 40 or 55 for the Jokic or Sabonis dribble styles. All right, so now for the interior defense, we're going with a 74. That's going to get you paint patroller on silver, post move lockdown on bronze. Now the big thing, again, the center is built for 5v5 modes like Pro-Am. So usually on most Pro-Am teams, the center is guarding the corner where the power forward is guarding the paint. There are going to be some times where the center rotates to the paint, but usually we're not putting crazy amounts of block on those type of centers, usually around the silver paint patroller. Last year, the meta center had bronze paint patroller for 5v5 mode, so this is actually slightly a bit of an upgrade in comparison to last year. All right, so now let's quickly talk about perimeter defense. It's going to be a 62 that gets you immovable enforcer on bronze, and you're also going to get off-ball pest on bronze. Now, one big thing, I've mentioned this in pretty much every single video, but you know, not everybody watches every single video. Movable enforcer is now tied to your perimeter defense on NBA 2K25, and it's not just your strength. You can't make some low perimeter D build that also gets like a 95 strength and still gets half a movable through those means. Now for the steal, we're going to go with a 67 here. That's going to get you bronze interceptor and silver glove. Now, honestly, you probably could just go 60 just to get the bronze interceptor, but I like going as high as possible on the steal to try and get better steal animations, especially like after playing last year's game where passing lane steals were not that great. It just kind of makes me want to just put a little bit more steal than I need to. So we're going bronze interceptor, bronze glove, and yeah, so we'll be able to more than likely be able to get some steals without any issue. So now on the rim protecting side of things, we're going to have paint patroller on silver and high flying denier on gold. That's why we went with the 88 block and the 80 vertical. That is what you need to get high flying denier on gold. We also have silver paint patroller. This is something you could potentially max +1, so you can max +1 this to gold, or you can use some cap breakers to get that block up to a 93. So again, we're at an 88 block. That'd be exactly 5 to get it up to a 93. So you can technically still get gold paint patroller on this build without having to upgrade it in the My Player builder once you get your first set of 5 cap breakers. All right, so now for the defensive rebound, we're going to go with a 96. That 96 defensive rebound is going to get you rebound chaser on Hall of Fame, and you're also going to get box out beast on Hall of Fame with this build. Again, this is also something that you can either cap breaker to a 99 to get legend rebound chaser, or you can max +1 the badge to legend rebound chaser. Between whichever one you want to do with these two, hey, you figure out which one you want to do, whichever whichever one you think is more valuable. And then obviously we're only going to have an 82 offensive rebound. Usually in competitive Pro-Am, the offensive and defensive rebound would be flipped. So you'd have 96 O board, probably somewhere around like a 90 defensive rebound. But we kind of just went with it like this just to make it a little bit easier to build at community day. Obviously, when you make this build, you can use it as a template and kind of just finalize it yourself when you're in the My Player Builder on NBA 2K25 on the release date, which is September 4th. All right, so now we have this set to strength where we're going to talk about speed and agility really quickly. This center is going to get a 69 speed, which for a build that is this heavy, that is actually pretty freaking fast to be able to get 69 speed. Agility is a 57. Now, please, I beg of you, please put agility on your centers. I do not care if it's in the 50s. Please still upgrade it, simply because your agility is going to be your off-ball movement, your off-ball acceleration. So on the offensive side of things, think about being able to slip quicker when you have high agility, or being able to do slip pops, dexing, things along those lines. On the defensive side of things, your agility is how quickly you strafe around on the court while holding L2. It's going to be how quick your first two steps are off ball on offense and on the defensive side of things. So just put agility on your builds. There's no reason not to. It's a relatively cheap attribute. And I've noticed that like with players with low agility, for example, when I was playing in Play Now with Nikola Jokic, you can get fried on the perimeter in one-on-one situations. And sometimes people like to put builds that can ISO out the corners of Pro-Am, and they'll put it up on the same side as the center. So make sure you put some perimeter defense on your build. Now, the strength. This is the big thing that we got to talk about here. 91 strength. What the hell does that get you? It gets you brick wall on gold. So it's 91 strength this year instead of 90, which is kind of weird. And again, Hall of Fame, box out beast. Now, like we mentioned again, I'm going to mention it for the second time because there's going to be people that do not watch this video all the way through. They're going to say, well, why'd you put the post control up to 61? This literally cannot go any lower or your strength will start dropping. There's no way around it. You have to have, if you want to have 91 strength to get you gold brick wall, which is usually the go-to for centers, you cannot have a lower post control than a 61 or else your strength will start dropping. Last thing here, the vertical is going to be an 80. That gets you high flying denier on gold. It's usually like the go-to vertical rating for centers usually, so we're going to go with an 80. Gets us some badges, probably will get us better rebounding animations as well. And that is going to be pretty much it for this build. We're going to get shades of Marcus Camby, Derek Lively, and Nikola Vucevic. And we are going to come out of the My Player Builder, and we are going to get the shades of Inside the Arc Maestro. That's going to be pretty much it for today's video. This was a rather long video. We kind of went in depth with how I feel about the centers going into NBA 2K25. If you guys have any questions, comments, opinions, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you would also probably enjoy my Victor Wembanyama build, and that's going to pop up on the screen right now. Thanks again for watching.